Opposites Attract podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going. And make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you guys go to our website, you'll see all the ways that you can follow the podcast there. You'll see all of our social media. You can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. Share it with the people that you know. Find one of the clips that you guys like and share it with somebody that doesn't listen to the podcast. That's the best way that you guys can help us grow the podcast. You can also comment, wherever you can
Subscribe.
comment, give us 5 stars, thumbs up, all of that stuff. It all helps. We appreciate it.
Yes. So we have a busy day today.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So our baby girl, Adriana, is turning 14 years old, July 5th.
Yeah.
So we are she just wanted to have a get together with a few of her friends. So we are going to have a house full of teenagers.
Yeah.
And
they're coming.
Yep. And she's really excited about that. She's growing up so well, so beautiful. And then we have our 11-year-old son.
What's up?
That
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on the podcast before, where kids sometimes they traumatize themselves.
Right.
By walking into the parents' room at the wrong time.
Right.
Yeah. How ironic that we were reading a book about that earlier in the day.
So I have it here. Yeah. And the book is called...
Hold on. Let me get to the right sound effects page.
We should find the author of this book and bring them on. That would be hilarious. Like when they were writing the book, and because you have to keep a lot in mind when you're writing a child's book about the birds and the bees.
Yeah.
You
know what? And no matter what, it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
No matter what, it's uncomfortable. But I think like I said, they did a really good job explaining something that is really hard to explain to a kid.
Right. And I just want to take a moment to thank Kelly Hashu for letting me borrow the book, because I was going to buy it, but then she's, I'm like, hey, what's the name of the book? She's like, oh, bring it by.
Where did I come from?
Yes.
Which you guys can pick up on Amazon. If you guys go through our link, it'll help out the show. And I'm sure the book's, not too expensive, but you guys pick up the book and it'll help us out.
So it's hilarious because it goes through everything.
It breaks it down.
It
talks
really
about
does.
the sticky stuff.
Yeah, it refers to an orgasm as a sneeze, like a tickle in your nose.
And then you...
Yes. And how good it feels like when you finally sneeze. It's just, it's so great.
Yeah, same thing.
And it talks about even how like the babies are created, and how they grow within the mother and where they come out from.
What's happening every month.
Yes. And all that good stuff. And there's pictures, you guys, like for reals, of the parents.
Yeah, it shows it.
Like butt naked.
Yeah.
And Joey was squirming. We had him. We're not reading this book to him.
You know what
he was reading this book to us.
One thing that I did point out is that for some reason, when they're describing different body parts, they give more description for women's breasts.
Right.
Because they're like also known as titties or
bosoms. Right. But the proper name is breasts.
Right. But then for penis, they just left it at penis.
Right.
They weren't talking about dicks. They weren't talking about nothing else.
Well, they did the same thing with, vagina. Vagina.
Right. They didn't.
They didn't really give all your...
The box or whatever.
The box. Miguel, men. You men. I don't ever really hear women referring to your guys' penis as... I mean, we have dick and cock.
Pipe.
Right?
Your pipe too.
You don't talk. Us women, we're not
pipe.
Like, hey, did you get any pipe from your man last night? No. Like, we don't refer to your guys' shit.
Our shit?
I mean, you have so many names, and it's hilarious. I'm like, wait, what did you just say?
Know what?
What did you just refer to your dick ass.
Oh, there's a old Adam Sandler song where he's like, it's like back when Adam Sandler used to have like comedy CDs and shit. That's how old we are now that you can remember that. But he had one where it was like a skit or something, and he's with a girl in a car, and they're like getting, they're about to get down.
Yeah.
And he's like getting ready to pull it out, and he has like a name for it, like my pud, and she's like, "What did you say?"
Right.
And fucking just kills the whole moment.
Exactly. Pud. Like, ew, I don't want your pud in me. That's not even, that's not going to do it for me. Yeah.
It's over.
No. What are some other names that are just, give me another. Come on, you roll them out pretty good. Yeah.
Pud. Dude, you're putting me on yeah, pipe. Obviously, that's easy.
Anyways, none of them. Yeah. So as he's reading
Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, there's freaking millions of them.
Right. And so we're both sitting, we're on our bed, and he's in the middle, and he's reading to us, and he's like, "Mom."
He's getting uncomfortable.
And I'm like, "What, dude?" I'm like, "That's how you were born, like created. And that's how you were born. It's just a part of life." I think what happens, so here we go. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about I don't know all the words. No.
All the good things and the bad things. Something. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. So.
That's part of the song, isn't it?
Yes. And so anyways, I think that we parents make it something not to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I noticed this because for a long time, I have been asking for you to speak to Joey.
Yeah.
And you've been avoiding it forever. So I'm like, this dude is 11 years old. I'm sure he's already tingling and playing with his thing. No,
We've had suspicions.
We don't know. But either way, dude, he needs to know.
Maybe.
And then one of my clients had said, I talked to my son at a young age, right? And so I'm thinking, well, this one's already 11. We got to do something.
Well, we've had some sorts of conversations, but not like the real sit down and talk about it. And
I rather him know from us versus the outside world.
Which is another thing. We have to go back and tell him, like, if he has questions, he needs to ask us. Yes. We didn't tell him that, but we need to tell him that.
Yes. I thought I had asked him if you have. If
you did?
Yeah. But at the moment, he was feeling a little weird, uncomfortable. Yeah. So, but it's good to share with him now. Like, hey, if you have any questions, why I was on top of Daddy the night you walked in our room without any knock. So for reals, it's not even kidding. We just read this book to him. Wait.
Before you move on from the book.
Well, I'm not. I'm still there. But
okay,
go ahead.
Well, while we were reading the book, they were talking about the vagina, and of course, like, I'm immature, so I send you a text.
Oh yes.
Because in the book they give examples of how to pronounce the word.
Right.
Like breasts. I can't remember how they do it, but like penis, they tell you like how you can say it, and then vagina. The example that they gave. It's kind of like Carolina, but with a V. And I sent Sonia a text that says, Carolina has a stinky vagina.
And I'm like, really?
You're like, nice.
But that same night, we just got done reading this book. And
it's time to go to bed.
And I didn't have plans on.
Yeah.
I knew I was feeling a certain way, but normally, like, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to get me some, then I lock the door.
Right. Yeah.
And even though I was feeling like I wanted some, I was a bit tired, so I didn't know if it was going to happen, so I didn't lock the door.
Right.
So then, of course, right when Miguel's about to...
Yep.
The door opens. I didn't even see because I was into what I was doing. I did not see a thing. I didn't see light.
Well, yeah, you were facing away.
Right. And you were like,
get out. Get out. Turn around. Get the fuck out. Oh my God.
Maybe he thought we were wrestling because I was on you. I don't know, but
we just got, babe, you just said we just got done reading this book.
I know. So anyways, yeah, the following day, when I told you, like, we need to talk to him and be like, dude, you need to, knock on the door, daddy and I told him, hey, dude, you need to knock on the door. Daddy and I were trying to make another baby. And he looked at me like, you were? I'm like, what do you think we were doing?
He's like, I thought I heard a cat. Yeah, you're like, that wasn't a cat. That was me. Your mom gets crazy sometimes,
But the more and I wish we would have did this with Audrey because she is a bit
What, just
uptight.
leave doors unlocked?
No, I mean, she's walked in on us, but just been more laid back about it versus like this time I told him, I'm like, listen, if we're going to have a nooner, I'm just going to say, hey, daddy and I are going to go play in the room. You know what that means, right? Okay.
Leave us alone.
Like if you play with them about it and just leave it at that, then when things come around.
Kids will love that shit.
No, but
they'd be like, gross, get the fuck out of here.
But
wait till they're teenagers. They're like, get the fuck. Oh God, don't even, just leave me alone. You think kids want to hear that shit? I'm gonna go leave my nuts hanging out of your mom. We'll see you guys later.
Our listeners are probably like, what the hell? Hey, what do you expect, you guys? Come on. If you've been listening for some time, we get into some shit. God. I warn everyone that I talk to the podcast about or they ask questions. I'm like, if you have kids, do not, allow your kids to listen to our podcast.
This may be a parenting podcast, but
right,
don't let your kids listen to this shit.
Or sometimes our moms, like we have to give warnings. Dude,
I have to be careful when I'm editing. I'm like, oh shit, one of the kids is around.
Oh, yes. So I think that if we make it just more, not a shameful act.
Yeah.
But it's part of life. It's what we do. I mean, that's what we do.
Well, there is it's freaking weird. It's actually really weird when you think about it, because if you look at, like, it is like a shameful thing, kind of, right? Like the naked body is a shameful thing. Like, oh,
and that's here though.
You turn away. Right. That's another topic.
Right.
But then when you look at marketing, how are things sold with naked bodies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like
everybody on what you're marketing.
Well, depending on what you're marketing, but a lot of times, like, that's, like, people know that you can use sex to sell things.
Right.
Right. That is a very well-known, like,
that's
marketing
why I'm
strategy,
wearing a low-cut shirt.
Subscribe, like, comment down below. But yes, you got to watch on YouTube, Facebook. But yeah, like, but it's like a weird opposite, how it's supposed to be shameful, but then you use it for everything. And then, but yeah, like you were saying, when I was a kid, I used to go to Spain like almost every summer when I was really young. And over there, you guys know, like, they have the topless beaches. And when we went, you know, and the kids got to experience the topless. And it's not like you have to go to a specific, it's just, that's the way the beaches are.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is great.
And I remember, like, also when you leave this country and you go to another country and you watch TV, I don't know if it's still that way today, but I remember as a kid, like, they weren't as uptight, because once it started getting late, you would see, like, shows on TV that were like, it was like light fucking porn on regular TV, you know, and it was just like part of life. Like, it's not like as shameful, I guess, overseas.
I wonder if it was different here in the US. Would we still have the problems that we have? Do you hear a lot? Is there a lot of rape or molestation or anything like that? I mean, is it very high in other countries where the body?
I don't know.
We got to look into that.
Kind of like,
that's
interesting.
A good, like, just to see.
Maybe like in a place like the Netherlands where they have prostitution is legal. And I mean, you just, like, when it comes to sex, they're open about everything over there. You go to a place and pay and somebody will fucking do some crazy shit to you. They're just like, oh, that's your thing. Go for it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, but to see like
too.
what do they have those types of crimes and stuff? I don't know.
Right.
Didn't see it going down this.
No, that was just something that came up. And so I thought I would, share with you all what came up within, But either way, I think that it is something that when talking to the children about, or just in general, it's like making it something, it's just hard. Like you have to know how to go about doing it and making them aware of like the responsibility, the consequences and stuff like that, but not making it shameful. And me, like I do walk around naked in the room. If the kids come, like they've seen me naked and I don't hide myself.
Right.
Why?
You know what? That is fucking weird. Why is that? Like, maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I still don't want to do it. But like the difference, because it is different. Because we have kids and like, I think it is more normal for kids to see a mom naked versus a dad naked. Because like with our kids, we have an 11-year-old boy and a 13-year-old, almost 14-year-old girl. Even with Joey, he hasn't seen me naked in a while. But even still, if he walked into the bathroom or whatever, he's a boy, whatever. Audrey hasn't seen me naked she can't remember.
Yeah, right. Huh. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But not that I want to fucking change it. Not that I want to change it or anything. I'm not that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still, but it is. It's just how things are different.
That. Yeah. So anyways, guys, if you have a little one that you have not spoken to about the birds and the bees, this is a pretty good book. Just be ready yourself because it does get into some stuff.
But another thing, and a lot of times on this show, like we give advice on stuff that we know is good advice, but it's like you said, I've waited forever, and really it was the book that talked to Joey about the birds and the bees and how all that shit happens or whatever. But we have talked about like when things do come up, like when they do have a question, and then we do have to answer some of these questions. So we have done that in the past, and one thing that we have done is ask questions back instead of just fucking volunteering information.
Right.
And then giving too much, and then they're like, what'd you say?
Because that helps you to understand where they are,
where they're at,
their level. Yes.
Especially when they're younger.
Right.
You know?
Right. So, it's like, what is the right age to talk to your kids about sex, about, the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees? No.
Yeah.
And I think that every kid is different. Like with Joey, I felt like 10 would have been good. I think that we were a year too late. I think, well, not late, but I think that 10 would have been good. Yeah. Because, I asked him, because we did ask him questions. And I'm like, well, how do you know? And he's like, I hear my friends, like they'll, talk about certain things.
But that means that it was a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Because even at the end of the book, he was like, we asked him if he learned anything.
Yes.
And I don't remember what he said specifically, but he's like, yeah, I learned whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe like the technical part of like the sperm and the egg and how it looks like a tadpole and all.
He even said that.
Because he said it looks like a tadpole. And then in the book, it says they are kind of like little tadpoles.
Yes.
So it is a good way to do it.
Yeah. And the white sticky substance.
Yep.
Right? Like talking to him, about that. And the one thing that he's definitely not looking forward to is pubic hair.
Yeah.
Or any kind of hair.
He wants to be like a hairless
for that
cat.
matter. Yes. And he sees hair on you.
I don't know what that's about, but.
Right? Like he sees hair on you.
Dude, we're all just different. People have different personalities. We're all different.
And he may grow out of it.
True. Yeah.
He may be like, I want hair. Why don't I have any hair?
Yeah.
My friend has a mustache. I don't have a mustache. Look at Miguel's face.
That's not funny. All my friends have mustaches.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad.
I've always wanted a mustache. My whole life, I've looked through magazines. These people got beards and shit. The shit connects.
Yeah.
It's not like Asian like mine, where it's just like the little corners.
Yes.
That's it. It's always shit missing.
Hey.
All patchy.
What's the craziest? Have you ever put something on your face that you heard helps hair grow?
I don't give a fuck.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I've never been that way. I mean, even with like my face, I've had like certain things that have happened on my face, or I'm just like, fuck it. It is what it is. I don't know. Like my rib's poking out now. It's like, well, fuck it.
He's got a third nipple.
You know,
lucky
like
me. No.
And I don't know. It's always been that way, but I don't think I've just never really thought that much about it. Like thought that it was as big of a deal.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
What you think?
There is something that you have been sensitive about.
What's that?
Yes. Your toes.
My toes?
You recently started wearing flip-flops.
No.
You would not wear flip-flops outside.
That's different. It wasn't because of how my toes looked. It's because I was always wanting to be ready for a fight.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I was just never. That is actually something that kind of came from New York. People used to tell me that shit when I lived in Florida. When I first moved to Florida and you go to high school, all the kids in the high schools are all right by the beaches. So all the kids are wearing flip-flops and tank tops in school.
Uh-huh.
And I'd be in a fucking t-shirt and shorts and sneakers. And they're like, dude, you're always wearing sneakers. You know, like everybody by the beach wears flip-flops, right?
Yeah.
And as you get older, but I was like, if I was leaving the house, like I never wore flip-flops. Now that I do jujitsu, I wear flip-flops a lot more because it's just like I got to leave the house in flip-flops, come back in flip-flops.
Mm-hmm.
You just get used to it and it's comfortable. But before, I wasn't just comfortable wearing flip-flops out all the time.
So it had nothing to do with
my toes or
really?
I don't give a fuck. Like I got some fucked up toes.
Well, no, wait. That's true because remember when we went through this phase where we were going hiking and we would take pictures of your toes,
my jacked
like
up
grabbing
toes.
Stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
like because my toes are really long, so I would like put them on a rock and then I would take like a close up with my toes all spread out, looking all fucking crazy.
So check this out. So my sister, okay,
that's funny.
Her husband has Flintstone feet, right? Like those
jacked up.
Big. They're just big. They're solid, right? They're huge. And I would always make fun of his feet, like all the time. And one day, this was when, Miguel and I got together. We were probably already married then. But my sister came over and saw your toes and started laughing her ass off because she said, that's what you get.
Look at
talking
those fucking
shit
things.
About my man's toes. Have you seen your man's toes?
Yep. I used to say that it makes me more athletic. It's like I could grip the ground better.
Yeah.
With the big ass fucking claws and shit. But I don't know if it's true for jiu-jitsu because I'd be twisting them and shit. It hurts. Like I want smaller toes.
You want small. You want
only for
toes.
fighting though. Not that I give a shit at how they look.
That's hilarious.
But yeah.
Good
so
stuff.
yeah, we were talking about the kids, and I wanted to share like this moment that I had with Joey, and I think this happens to like dads, maybe not all dads, but every once in a while. So what happened to me was we were just upstairs. I can't remember what we were talking about or what we were doing, but I was laying on the bed and he came into the bedroom and he got on the bed and I just kind of like hugged him for a little bit, Yeah. And he's 11, like we said, and he's that kind of kid. Like he wants to cuddle. He slept with us last night, and he always wants hugs and kisses. He's very affectionate, and I'm like I love giving him the affection, and so do you. And we're a very like affectionate family. So I'm just kind of hugging him, and I'm laying like we're both laying there in the bed, and I just put my ear on his chest. And then I start hearing like his heartbeat, And like at first I kind of heard it faintly. And then I just started like moving my head and I got it to the point where I could really hear his heart. And it's kind of like that fucking book, man. It's like in that moment thinking that he came from me. you know? And then at the same time, thinking about the family, like that he's a little boy in our family, that I am the father of this family, and that a lot of people depend on me, you know? Yeah. It was a short moment.
When was this? What day? Was it a couple days ago?
It might have been that Thursday that you had went to work.
So I had a moment because I was been working in an office for the last 2 days, helping a friend out. And I was at work from 8 to 5. And you were with kids. And we had spoke briefly. And you told me that you were out at the stores getting the last minute things that we needed for the birthday party. And I just sat there and I was just full of gratitude and joy, just for, just you.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message and I'm like, I love you. Thank you for being such an amazing husband, provider, and a fantastic daddy. I appreciate you more than you will ever know.
Did I respond to that?
No, you didn't.
Mother.
But it's okay.
Hold on.
I wasn't.
Hold on. When did you send that?
It was yesterday when you were with the kids. But you sent me a picture and you said headed to jiu-jitsu at 4:43. So an hour.
I'm putting T-Mobile on blast. I never got that message.
What?
I didn't get that message.
Aw.
I never got that message.
Aw. See, look. You sent me that. And then.
Yup. Who said yup?
I did.
I didn't get that either.
You're all sexy time. And I'm like, yup.
I didn't get that.
And then I responded.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, thanks, babe.
You're welcome. But I am so grateful for you. You have, from the beginning, just always been such a great provider. When we were going through challenges and we had 5 kids, 3 teenagers and 2 babies.
Yeah.
And I stepped back and you stepped up. And the reason why I am able to really focus on what it is that I'm here to do, to follow my dreams, to follow my purpose, my journey, having time to be still, having time to really figure out who I am is because of you. You've given me that space and time to do that. And I am so grateful. And this is where my conflict lies. My conflict lies because I am sitting in a space of where I am tuning in to listen to where I need to be and where I need to go in order to stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
And the old me, who was so used to running and doing and chasing success and chasing the dollar, right? That because I was so scared of not having and going backwards.
Yeah.
Now I'm not fearful of not having. And I'm no longer chasing the dollar. But I see you. And I see us. And a part of me, because I'm not going at the pace that maybe you may not want me to be going, that there's guilt that's within because I am not going at the pace that I feel that you think that I should be going at.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's feeling guilt of your stress that you may be going through but not showing. And this could all be
in your head.
Exactly. No. But it's and this is something like I was just writing Ben about.
Because
like
some of it is true, but some of it is in your head. Because like I think when I bring things up to you about like the coaching business, because the way I do see it, like you are the coach, but it is kind of like it's gonna be our business because there's no way that I'm not gonna be involved. Like because we're gonna put programs together or events together, and somehow like I'm gonna be helping with stuff and doing things, right? Even though you're gonna be doing the coaching or whatever, you know,
right?
And that's how it is. Like we're gonna figure shit out,
right?
And when I make suggestions or I bring something up, like maybe you want to think about this, or I don't know if you realize this or not, or whatever, it's only because I'm thinking about it as a business. And like, I'm like, well, maybe this is what we should be doing, or maybe, but I know it's also a personal business for you. So I don't, because I think I make suggestions, but do I put like a lot of pressure on you to do things?
No. But I am also sensitive to energy. So you may not say it, but I feel what's happening within you.
Yeah.
And so you may not be putting pressure on me, but there's pressure on you. Do you understand? Which you're feeling the pressure, but you're not putting pressure on me. But because of what I'm used to doing for the family financially.
I'll bring up a couple things just so that you can see where I'm coming from. Because there is so many times that people start a bit or are starting businesses, and they're getting into something new. They have experience in it. Maybe they've done it for a while in a way that's not like professional. Like they've always kind of been in it, but not professionally in it.
Right.
So they have some experience, but now they want to actually get in it. So they start taking classes. They start doing things that's leading them to becoming a professional in this thing. When you're starting a business, a lot of times people learning is never ending.
Right.
And if you always feel like you have to learn something, like when is your business going to start? You know, and at a certain point, I'm like, look, you can help people. You don't have to keep listening. You don't need the next book and the next book. Like, let's get some clients. Go after the clients. We don't need to learn anymore. You can learn. You can continue to learn. You know, there's that kind of thing, which I think is a real thing for some people.
No, yeah. Where it's like they have all this knowledge, but they're not putting it into activity. Like with Legal Shield, we would hear it all the time. Like you guys are going to all these conferences, you're going to all these trainings,
ignorance
but
on
you're
fire.
Still an associate.
Ignorance on fire,
right,
is better than knowledge on ice. That's what they used to tell us.
Right.
And that's, you know, that it's like sometimes at a certain point, and even in Legal Shield when we were in it, it's like what they were never saying, just go and stop learning.
Right.
The thing is, go and keep learning.
Right.
But at a certain point, you have to go. You've learned enough. Start doing.
Right.
And then, you know, when you're starting a business, there's a few things that you need to get going. You know, so we have a few clients, but then now we're thinking about doing an event.
Right.
And for me, like I'm thinking, we're starting a business. We're trying to get clients. We're trying to figure out the structure of how this is going. Yeah. And now we're going to throw in an event, which is different. Yes, it's related.
This is the first time they're hearing this.
But what I'm saying is I'm thinking of it as a business. I'm like, well, maybe we should figure out this other stuff here. And once we have done this a little bit for a little while, then we start adding this stuff in. Because when you start doing too much, you get distracted. And then you look and you're like, well, I didn't really do anything very well because I was all over the place.
So I understand how you feel when it comes, I can see that. When you look at our other business, Trust Inc., how was I?
I don't remember.
Did I procrastinate on getting clients? I studied so that I could learn the documents, learn how to build an agency, and then woof, I jumped.
Yeah.
That was it, right? And I learned as I went, right?
Yeah.
It's my history. Legal Shield, no fucking procrastination. Second month, hit executive director. Ignorance on fire.
Right.
Right? This business is different.
I think this business is different because before, they weren't as personal as this business.
Right. Like I'm dealing with people and their emotions and pain and trauma and helping them.
Yeah.
So it comes from a very deep-seated divine place within me.
Yeah.
And the retreat he's talking about, because you guys have not heard about
we can get into that.
Came to me. I don't know if we mentioned it through a meditation.
Wait, real quick, before we get into the retreat, I wanted to get back to Joey in that moment. One thing that I was going to say is like, in that moment when I was listening to his heartbeat and like thinking about the family, and then I started thinking about work, and how important it is like to do the shit that you don't want to do. Yeah. Whether you want to fucking do it or not. Like you don't feel like getting up and going to work, that little boy fucking relies on you. Yeah. You don't feel like doing this or doing that, or I want to fuck off today. Your wife, your daughter, your kids, they depend on you. So it's like, and it's like the book, not wanting to do it. It's all these things, the same shit that I talked to Joey about. It's not wanting to do the things that are difficult, that have to be done. And you just got to do it. But that is a good reminder and a good motive. That's a fucking hell of a motivation, Yeah. But it's good.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, like, when you felt that. Because yesterday, when I sent you that message that you didn't receive, I was sitting in that. Like, I am able to have the time to look within because I have you on my side. And I know, your heart and where you stand, and you help me to make this possible.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm happy
I'm living what it is that I want to do because I have you by my side. So I don't take that lightly when it comes to growing the business and doing the things that I need to do because of that same feeling that you just had.
Yeah. But I want you to know that because the business is also so personal, I want you to do it the way you want to do it. I just give you suggestions and things that I see that maybe, might be a distraction, or I might feel like is a distraction or whatever, but ultimately it's up to you. Like, this is your main, like, yes, I'll help, but this is your main business, Yeah.
And I'm open to it, right? Like when you had brought that to my attention, like, shouldn't, you focus more on bringing in clients versus doing this retreat. And because of where I'm at, I listen more to like I go within It's like I connect with my soul, I connect with God, and that's where I get my direction. And this retreat came up very clearly, like the vision, everything about it. And it was so that people could experience me as a coach, but also to give them an experience to experience themselves.
Yeah.
Like taking them through a journey, helping every one of them go within and learn how to heal from within.
Yeah. And like when you were sharing the event with me and how it's going to go and the purpose of the event, like I could see how it would be a very helpful event for people that went, and also how it would lead to more clients, you know?
Right. Because because
this is a one-time event it's a weekend.
Right.
And it's going to be great. You can get some stuff out of it, but you can only do so much in that weekend.
Right. Right. But this is the thing. The more you serve, the more value you provide, God will always redirect that back your way. I mean, look at us. Look at the things that we've done as a couple to serve, to give back.
Yeah.
You know, from the beginning, we had challenges. We were there. We opened our home. We opened our hearts.
Yeah.
We gave our time.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's taken for granted.
Yeah. I think also when you have an attitude like that, you're going to have a positive life for the most part, you know? You were saying something about the message that I sent you, the message that I didn't get.
Yes. What about it?
I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, I was just saying, like, it's like I was feeling you. Like I was feeling whatever moment you were having with Joey, whatever that was. It's just weird, right? That I wrote that message. You just shared that moment you had with Joey.
Yeah.
And I just shared a message thanking you for being that provider, thanking you for being that.
Yeah.
And crazy. You didn't receive it.
I didn't get it. It's all good. At least now I know.
But we were connected.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you guys go to our website, you can watch the podcast, listen to it there. You can, the best thing would be for you guys to subscribe to the show, to like, comment, leave a review, give it 5 stars, all of that stuff. And when you go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, if you click on the support the show tab, it'll take you to our Amazon link. You can do whatever shopping you do on Amazon, because everybody's always shopping on Amazon. And it doesn't cost you anything extra. But if you click through that link and check out, it'll help out the show, and we get a little kickback every time you guys shop through there, and it helps us buy lights and microphones and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you can also send us a message on there.
Leave us a comment.
You can leave us a comment.
Or if there's something that you guys would like for us to talk about. We haven't really talked about like our past. It's been a bit. I mean, we've been podcasting for 3 years.
No, and I forget that there's things
so much content that we have.
You know, there's another thing that I always think about, that there's things that come into my head that to me, and probably for you too, is like so like a normal way of thinking at this point, that you don't even say anything. But then you think about like, that wasn't always the way we used to think.
Right.
And because we don't say it, other people don't get to hear it.
Right.
You know, so anyway.
So that's definitely something we need to go back and talk about, because we have some new listeners, I'm sure.
Right. So oppositesattractpodcast.com. And you can send us a message there. You can also give us a call at 480-331-9846. And you can leave us a comment. You can send us a question. You can be anonymous. You don't have to leave your name. And if there's anything that you guys want to know, you guys can send us a question and we can answer it on the show.
Yes, yes. And if you guys would like to support in a different manner, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod and buy us a virtual drink. And you can also subscribe on a monthly basis to that as well.
Awesome. So I wanted to talk about another thing that happened with Joey, that actually it started when I was on my last trip. I was listening to this book, and I've mentioned it on here. It's a book about science. and about how science, figures things out in the world, and about religion and all this stuff, and like what is true, what isn't true, and how to be able to tell the difference. And anyway, but in this book, they talk about like the curiosity of kids and how kids ask all these questions. Man, and it was like, I'm listening to it in this book and having kids and listening to this, like it fucking broke my heart. And it was talking about when kids come up to you and they ask you a question about something. And a lot of times, like, they ask little questions about simple stuff. But then sometimes kids will ask a question that will stump adults. But to us, it's like, why is the earth round? It's a good question. Like, why is the earth round? Why are planets round? Why is the sun round? But when we get questions like that, maybe you kind of know the answer. Maybe you can say that it has to do with gravity and then this and that. What's going to come from the kid after that? Why is this and this and that? And then you're like, well, maybe you can answer that question. And then if you can't answer that question, well, why is this? And then why is that? And then eventually, maybe if you're busy, because I know we're busy, you get frustrated with all the damn questions. It's like, all right, dude, enough with the, like, or you give a sarcastic response. What shape do you expect the earth to be in? Square? Oh. Yeah, I guess it was a dumb question. And then they turn around and they go to their room. And the book was talking about, like, when you do that enough times, eventually kids stop asking questions because they feel like they're annoying the people that they look up to.
Right. Which makes them feel not smart. Right.
Especially if you're giving those sarcastic responses.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when I'm listening to this part of the book, like, I was feeling bad. Because Joey does have a lot of questions. And that's what's the most fucked up, is that when you have somebody that has that personality, that curious personality, you should fucking develop that.
Yes.
Instead of like shutting it down.
Yes.
Yeah. I felt pretty bad, But at the same time, it was like, I'm glad I heard it.
Yes.
And when I got back, we went to, I don't know, we were at a restaurant or something. And I told you that I wanted to talk to Joey about that and to talk to the kids, because with Joey, it's more, I don't know if maybe just his personality, he's more curious.
Yes.
Right. And maybe Audrey didn't ask that many questions, but like I told you, Audrey was also a longer time ago.
Yes.
And we weren't who we are today back then.
Right.
And maybe she did have a lot of questions, and maybe we fucking snuffed them out. Yeah. Another thing that they were talking about in the book was that by the time kids get to high school, or by the time they get to when they're in kindergarten, they have questions about everything. By the time they finish high school, they don't have any more questions, because they know, like, they've been pretty much trained through their school career what questions to ask and what questions are stupid and what questions make you look dumb in front of everybody else. And when you feel that way, you stop asking certain questions.
Right.
Especially when you're in a room with 30, 35 people all doing the same shit.
So I wanted to tell you that the book brought to you awareness, right? Yeah. And once you became aware, the next thing was, I need to clean up my mess. I need to clean up what I did.
Yeah.
And the way you did that was speaking to him and apologizing to him. Yeah. It wasn't just, I messed up, I'm going to change this. It's bringing it to light. Like, hey, dude.
I think it was last Sunday we went out to breakfast.
Yeah.
We were sitting at the table.
And it was. And it's like, dude, you know what? I know, and then, go along with, share with him, what it was that you became aware of. And this is where humility comes from. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, being able to say those words, like, I am sorry.
Yeah. For making you feel that way.
Yes. And I was wrong. And I just didn't know any better.
But like in the moment, like as I'm listening to the book, like I'm also thinking like, what is your job?
As a parent.
What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to help these little kids.
Yes.
That come from you. You're supposed to guide them. When they have questions, you help them figure it out. If you don't know the answer, let's figure it out.
Right.
Or go look it up, but not to respond with frustration.
Yes.
And with like that, I don't know how, like that vibe, that emotion, that whatever that is.
Yeah, it's
negative,
being annoyed. It's being
emotion,
annoyed, and for one, if you don't know the answer, it's like, I don't know, but let's go check it out. Let's look it up. When I told Joey, he was asking me a question. I don't remember what it was about, but no, someone was asking him a question, and I may have been asking him a question, and he didn't know the answer, but he didn't say I didn't know. And I'm like, Joey, if you don't know the answer, just be like,
I don't know.
I don't know. And he's like, well, my teacher told me that we should never say I don't know. And I said,
that's horrible advice.
Right. And I said, I understand why she said I don't know, because it's not good to say I don't know, but you should probably figure it out because it's in your book. That's the thing.
The reason the teacher said never say I don't know is because a lot of kids will automatically say I don't know.
Instead of looking up the answer.
Trying to figure instead of thinking about it and trying to figure it out.
But I had to share that with him.
Right.
I'm like, it's not a bad thing to say I don't know. Like, if you're asking us a question about the earth or about something that we don't know the answer to, instead of us lying to you and coming up with something that's not even true, it's best to say I don't know, but then figuring it out. Go onto Google, look up the information, look up the answer. Don't stay in the I don't know.
Right.
Go into the knowing.
Right.
Right? Like, that's where curiosity comes from.
Yeah.
Being curious enough to look for the answer.
Yeah.
You had said we were watching something the other day. Maybe today we were watching your jiu-jitsu video, and you were talking to me about this dude who was practicing Aikido and practicing it for many years and thought that he knew how to defend himself, and come to find out the entire time
the things that he were learning didn't work. 15 years.
Yeah. He went and put himself into
he went and sparred with an MMA guy.
And got his butt kicked. And then it happened again, and he realized that all the time that he put into this fighting, he still doesn't know how to defend himself.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when someone tells you something and you related it to religion or cult, right? Or when you're in, you're learning something, and instead of questioning it, you just kind of go along with it, and you end up following.
Almost because you want it to be true.
Right.
When so much of your identity is wrapped up in this thing, what happens if that falls apart?
Right. And we've talked to and this goes along with being a parent. It's like, we do our best to keep our kids in the knowing and to answer the question the best to our ability. But it's like, we are not the end all. We share with our kids to question even us.
Yeah. And sharing our mistakes. You were saying about humility and like being able to, like apologizing to Joey for for getting frustrated at his questions and stuff like that. And also, like, I was telling you that man, it's been so hard for me. I'm just getting back into jiu-jitsu. It's like I've trained for the second time in like a month and a half. And like you guys know, I've talked about that. I have these goals that I've already had to skip out on one tournament because of this rash on my arm. You know, it's just been one thing after another. And I've been doing my best to like stay motivated, stay in shape and all that stuff. But when you've been out of training for so long, you have to kind of get back in the hang of fighting. Mm-hmm. And you have to connect your thoughts to your muscles, to your
yes.
to everything.
Yes.
It's not easy. Yeah. You know, and the thing is that and jiu-jitsu is one of these things that when you look back or while you're watching it, you can see what the right thing to do is. But when you're under stress, it's not easy to think about the right thing to do.
Right.
You have to have it committed to muscle memory.
Right.
You know? So I was telling Joey that I was in this I was fighting with this guy and I put him in a triangle. And he was waiting for me to adjust, which I did, and he passed my triangle and got into my side control. Now, normally, there's something that I automatically start thinking to defend myself, but the way that he landed on me, he had me in a bad spot. Now, in that moment, I was like, this is fucking uncomfortable. This sucks. He was smashing me, and I could have defended a little bit more, but I didn't defend as much as I should have, and he ended up getting into mount. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of had my arm up, or maybe I was just leaving it hanging out in a place that I knew was probably not good. Mm-hmm. And he did what he was supposed to do. He grabbed it and choked me. Mm-hmm. Which is a form of quitting. Right? It's a form of quitting because
you knew he was going to use that arm
I didn't
to
really
submit you?
I didn't do hardly much to defend myself.
Okay.
I knew that I need to keep my arms tight. And if I leave an arm up a little bit, he can ratchet it up and choke me with it.
Yes.
I didn't keep my arm tight because I was already uncomfortable and getting smashed. So if he can choke me, the shit's over and we can get back up. Right? That's the fucking truth of it. And when you haven't been fighting and you're uncomfortable, it fucking sucks. So I come home and I'm talking to Joey about this stuff. And I told him, I was like, man, like I realized what happened. I fucking quit. I was like, what should I have done? That was my immediate next thought. Like I thought, I fucking quit. And then my next thought was, what should I have done? There is something that you should do. Like just because he was able to get into that position that I didn't want him in, I was going to try to defend it, but he ended up there anyway, doesn't mean that there's nothing that I can do. What I should have done was get one arm in and like put my hand up against his hip and frame him away. There's something. I was like, next time I end up in this position, I need to immediately start thinking, frame on the hips, get my arm across the face, and do what I'm supposed to do when I'm in that position, not give up. And I told Joey, I was like, you know what though? I lost that, like I gave up, literally. But I learned what I should have done. I was like, next time that somebody passes my guard or gets like passes a triangle or whatever and ends up in side control like that, if I remember to frame against their hips, get my arm across and shrimp and get them in a better position, I don't have to win the match. I already won.
Right. Even if you didn't give up.
Even if I try it and they stuff it.
Yes.
I already won because I tried it.
Right.
Because I remembered and I didn't give up. I didn't let him just go to mount. I framed and I stayed in the fight, even if it was for a little bit longer.
Right.
I won.
Right.
That's it.
Because the only way to lose is to quit.
And that's what I did the first time. But I keep coming back.
And it's so good that you talked to Joey about this because he is, hard on himself. And when it comes to jiu-jitsu, he always feels like he's losing. But it's like, it's good to lose, right? You're learning. You're not losing. It's like it's exactly what you just explained.
Yeah.
Okay, you lost that round. What could you have done different?
Yeah.
Right? And that you can, in life, it's the same thing with the challenges and obstacles that we go through in life. It's like, if you learn the lesson within the event or the heartbreak or whatever it is, you're not going to keep repeating it. The only time it keeps repeating itself is if you're not learning the lesson that you're supposed to learn in order to move on to get to the next lesson of your journey.
That happened to me yesterday too.
Is.
When I was rolling with Blue and he kept doing the same shit to me
Exactly.
over, and I wasn't learning the lesson.
Yes.
I was like, and then, you know what? Actually, when I was rolling with Blue, there was this thing. He kept pushing my arm across and
he was
like,
trying to
and
show
there
you.
was something. And then at one point he did it, and I was like, all right, I feel it. Like, I was like, okay. I'm not moving this freaking arm like over there anymore. Of course, he's probably got like 20 other things that he could do to me. But it was like, that was it. I wasn't learning the lesson, and he kept doing the same thing.
Yeah. See, in jiu-jitsu, you have to connect too. I can see how that can help bring awareness, because in jiu-jitsu, your mind and your, I don't know, with you, your higher self, or it has to connect. It has to connect. You have to feel, right?
Yeah.
And learn, use your brain, learn, but also feel what's happening in order to understand what they're doing, the lesson, to understand the lesson. If you're just thinking and not connecting to what you're feeling, you're going to have a harder time.
Yeah. Yep.
Those two have to connect in order to.
That's why it's fun.
Yeah. I enjoy choking you out sometimes.
And
dude,
we were
and
working
I'm
on
learning,
it yesterday. Yeah,
like
I was helping you.
I'll watch, you know. And
what were we doing? We're doing triangle yesterday
on the
in
bed?
the bedroom. Yeah, we be fucking around sometimes. That's fun.
You flipped me over yesterday. I went flying, but we were on the bed.
Yeah, that's fun. And with that,
yes,
make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. Thank you guys for being with us.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.